I don't know people know or not, but Pustak Mahal and RapidX was our family business. I wrote RapidX computer course, which sold literally millions and millions of copies in India. My father actually wrote RapidX English speaking course, which a lot of people know. I believe if I can create customization at scale, then learning and skill will happen automatically. But there is a very interesting thing about US. Good colleges by ranking in America are twice or thrice more expensive. In India, the higher the ranking, the less is the fee. You take a services of an agentic AI agent, take all the data the agent will take. It will start to create in that same voice speaking agents who will call someone like a physical person. That's scary in one, that what will happen to the jobs. But that's the reality, which is not merely maybe I'll say 2 years. When accounting softwares came, so people say all the accountants will be out of business. They are not. The role has changed.
In fact, jobs were increased.
Much more. So the jobs will change.
I wanted to know who Vikas Gupta is. कहाँ से आते हो आप? Roots कहाँ से आपकी?
Roots Delhi है. Okay. I was born and brought up in Delhi. Born to a publishing family. For 4 generations, the family has been in publishing. I don't know people know or not, but Pustak Mahal and RapidX was our family business. I ran that business for a long time, about 10-15 years actually. I wrote RapidX computer course, which sold literally millions and millions of copies in India. My father actually wrote RapidX English speaking course, which a lot of people know. So the background has been in publishing. I was fortunate enough to do engineering while in publishing. So education and technology came together. I did my first master's from London in actually printing and publishing technology. And during that time, the idea of e-learning was still in my mind. I'm talking about 2000. And we actually built a company in collaboration with a US company. It was called DreamTech Software. And we built a e-learning system, which we sold off to this company, Coriolis Group, his communication in US. We built that company. We sold that company to them at that time. It was an e-learning system to do IT certifications. So I've been into education technology for a long time. During the time when we are talking, there was no streaming. There was only dial-up modem, internet. And to teach people e-learning with that in mind was interesting. But even before that, when I created RapidX, it used to come with a floppy disk along with it, which later became a CD and a DVD, in which a full-fledged simulator was there to learn basics of computers like MS-DOS, WordStar. There were some,
DTP was one of
DTP was so multiple those things. So your ability to do that and understand both parts from the education, means content, and the technology side was a uniqueness. Because I always believed, and even till today, the biggest challenge I face with edtech companies are, they all do a great job. In education technology, if you ask a technology person starting a company, they will spend 80-90% of their money in technology.
In building technology.
Yes. And they will spend maybe 5% on education, the content side. If you give it to a publisher like me, I may spend, say 80% on content. If your content is world class, technology though you can get from anywhere. I believe that challenge of 2 extremes does not create a very good learning experience. And that has been a biggest challenge. Create learning and skilling solutions for masses. Even now, it is getting better day by day. Much, much better now than it was say 3, 4, 5 years ago, pre-COVID. But that has been a challenge. I understood that, so the whole journey has been on that. Then I did a joint venture with John Wiley and created Wiley India. I ran that joint venture, sold my stake to them, then came into education technology, started now Futurense from the last few years. Raghav is the founder and CEO. I'm more of a chairman and MD, so more strategic.
The guidance.
Maybe I'm getting old.
So you were deeply involved in publishing with Pustak Mahal before moving to edtech. What prompted you to start Futurense Technologies, and how did your publishing background shape your approach to education?
So as I said that, the one thing I was always clear was that, unlike a lot of people may think, I was always an above average student. I was not a very smart student. So when I look at things, I see is that most of the startups are done by the very smart guys. They all assume or people assume that those smart solutions would be understood by everybody.
Yeah.
That is true in content.
That's what you presume actually.
And that's true in content and that's true in technology. But if you are an average student like me, I am getting a bit of trouble understanding this. Let's make it simple. Second is that you may learn one thing because you have a better IQ and you are a smart person. Just once somebody shows you something or tells you something, you will learn. For some other person, it may take that they may need to be told again and again that thing and connect the dots of that for every learning module you have or learning outcome you are having. You are connecting the dots. You learned this earlier. Now I'm adding this here. So our ability to understand content, the least common denominator means even an average or a below average student or a professional can understand, has been one of the biggest reasons that you were able to build those kind of solutions for the public at large. Second is because of the publishing background, the access to academics. I published during Violet Times and we were publishing thousands of journals. Connection on first understanding how students at scale learn and understand, how academics understand. That I think is the competitive edge the publishing background gave, with obviously a technology background. So I think that I believe is our secret sauce. But then you need to have a huge amount of marketing, branding, go-to-market strategies, understand what is next. Because contrary to what you think, if you want to start a program today, you cannot just think yesterday and you can start the program today. So you have to understand what will be in demand 6 to 9 months from now. And you may go wrong half the time. That's an investment. But you have to keep on doing it to be ahead of that curve. So we have a very, very strong team of people. Raghav runs marketing, branding, and a bit of operations. So Shalini, who runs all our engagement with all our sales and all. I have got Debrati, who runs our product side with me. So I think that combination of set of very, very accomplished industry professionals and a combination of youth as well as people with experience gives us a unique perspective to look at a bigger audience. Because I believe if I can create customization at scale, then learning and skill will happen automatically. One size will not fit all. So I think even in traditional degrees, you can say what will be, we have done a lot of innovations through our platform, through our delivery, in a way that even if you are a weaker student in the class, you are not left behind. And I think that is a very big difference between us.
So the main ingredient in education is content and will be content always.
Content on its own is just like a 0 without a 1, or it is 1 without a 0. So if you need to get a 10, they need to coexist and equal emphasis on both. That's, I think, is a better way.
So you have mentioned creating long-term solutions in education. What makes an initiative truly transformative? And how do you Futurense ensure the impact in today's fast evolving landscape?
A lot of people, let's take an example. A lot of people had an aspiration to go to an IIT, but to do a degree, not a certificate, a degree. They were unable to. Now they are in jobs. So working with IITs to create the executive MTech programs. We were, I think, one of the first players to do so. In a way that we married technology, content, delivery, expectation of exams, because the quality needs to be maintained. Yeah. Creating a model that maybe entry may be easier, but exit is, quality is maintained. So that solution is now allowing people to fulfill their dreams in terms of their career paths. But apart from that, even in these programs, there is a lot of emphasis on applied learning. There is a lot of emphasis on learn by doing. Because if we don't do that, then these degrees will also lose its meaning, because it is not about that people will not figure it out. They're all smart. But if they're already given a full flavor of this is the context, this is the content. So if both of them are married together, you will get a very good outcome, which you can use in your career and jobs. And I think that is where I think it is becoming a transformative journey. Thousands of people are doing it. Now if you go to an 18-year-old, for an 18-year-old, they couldn't get into an IIT. A lot of private colleges, the quality of education is very bad. If they go to do a simple degree, a normal graduation, they're actually 3 years later, what will the skills and knowledge they have, what jobs can they get is not many. So for them, we have now just started with one IIT, a BS or a BSc in applied AI and data science. The innovation here is that you can do these degrees on your own, but you can also do it with your existing course.
Yeah, dual degree.
A dual degree. I'll not call it dual, but it's an add-on degree.
Add-on degree.
So the idea is, it is on a student or their parents to take a decision about that it does not matter that you could not get into a top institution. There are multiple other ways to reach the same destination. But if you work hard and if you have fire in the belly, there are multiple other ways to achieve the same goals in terms of your academic qualification, your skills, the jobs you can do, and how careers can be built. I think this is what we are trying to do at Futurense, that from a school going, this person who is now going to get into mainstream education of doing a graduation, till the time you want to do a master's, we want to help you. So that's what we are trying to do. And then if you want those career options in India, we have options. You want to do those education and career options abroad.
So I think, what is this pathway? That's a new term in education, that's pathway.
Okay. So I'll tell you, the pathway model is that a lot of people, when they do the mathematics of, say, going to US and doing a master's.
Those are the expenditure that has to be calculated.
No, one is expenditure. But there is a very interesting thing about US. Unless you go to a good college, you will not get a good job.
Yeah.
But good colleges by ranking in America are twice or thrice more expensive than a B grade or a C grade college. So I'm not even talking about the top 30 colleges or 30 universities or institutes. I'm talking about, say, from rank 40 to rank, say, 200 in the US news ranking. As the ranking goes down, the fees goes down. It's a very interesting phenomenon. In India, the higher the ranking, the less is the fee. So if you go to IIT, it is like practically nothing.
Same in the medical field. Government hospital, you'll have a
precisely. So it's a very different thing. In America, it's the opposite. A lot of people ask, why is that? They say in America, what they say is, the reason it is expensive is you take it seriously and get the best out of it.
Yeah.
You all will take loans. So they really work hard. And that's their model. Right and wrong, I'm not commenting, but that's the model. So we said that now for an Indian person who goes there, they first give a GRE GMAT, which is a cost of maybe $1 lakh to do training and time, 6 months, 3 months you will prepare. Then you apply and you get maybe because of your credentials and all, you get a good college. Masters in a top 100 college would be at least $60,000 to $70,000. Then 2 years of living and expenses and other things, you are talking about another, say, $40,000. That's bare minimum. So $110,000 is there. Some people will say, oh no, I got a scholarship, $10,000, $5,000. So let's take it 100,000, a base figure of 100. It could be 5 or 10 here and there. Now, you worked there, you took a loan. So by the time you have to start paying the loan back, the 2-year interest of $100,000, say at 12%, becomes, say, literally $125,000. So when the repayment starts, you are starting at $125,000 base. You go to any college, doesn't matter, any good college. Now, assume you got a $80,000 job. Everything went well, you worked hard and you got $80,000. After taxes, you are left with $50,000 and you start paying $2,500 or $2,000 back. You do your math, you'll be paying for 7-8 years before your loan gets over. And then if after the 3-year OPT, which is that you can do with your F1 visa, if you don't get an H1, you have to come back, still half the loan is there. So we said this is not a right thing. Still many people do it, but this is not the right approach. Let's change the game. So we created a model where you can do 30% of your credits in India.
Okay.
And we worked with these universities, top 100 ones, and you can do 70% of your credits there, and you can finish your masters in a year. You have to work hard. Work hard is, there is no shortcut to that. Because of that, and we created this deal that we can give you a block of students. They also gave scholarships. And now that $70,000 course, actually students are ending up paying about $30,000.
1/3 cost of the...
I'll say less than 50-50. It could be between 30, it is actually between 25, because depending upon which level of the universities, to 35,000. So let's take an average of 30,000. But now you're finishing in a year. So you will spend another 10, 12, $15,000 on your stay. Now you say, why it was 20 earlier, now 50? Because now you're going in a group. So 2 or 3 or 4 of you can stay together in a flat much cheaper. Okay. So it is say 45. Another $5,000 for other miscellaneous expenses, which I didn't take earlier, I'll take now. So now at the base is 50,000. 1 year interest, it becomes 55. You still got the same $80,000.
You save time also, you save money also.
Within 2 years you pay. So even if H1 does not exist after 3 years, you have paid, you will still make some money and come back. This is the worst case scenario for a hard-working student, where I say your base was 80,000. Our students are getting jobs of 100,000 also and more also, 120 also. That's a separate thing. I'm talking the base number. So we have now created a cost-effective pathway for students to do that in half the time. And once you start earning a year earlier, the gap between your old experience and now is only 1 year instead of 2 years, which was the case earlier. So I think this is the pathway model. It works very well. Thousands of students have already taken it, 1,000 plus. We are increasing those numbers step by step. But again, we follow the principle of step by step learning what is right, wrong. Again, I'll say the only thing which we always see in our students is hard work. Smartness is very subjective. Hard work is not. Hard work, the answer is that there is no difference between your definition of hard work and mine. All other things are very subjective.
There's no alternative to hard work. In your current role, you promote AI-driven education. How do you see AI shaping students' learning and companies' adaptation to industry needs? How is Futurense interacting AI to bridge that gap?
Understand what is happening in AI. AI has been there for 35 years.
I'm sorry, AI just crashed our market yesterday. I read in today's newspaper because of DeepSeek, China AI.
So I'll come to that.
Our market crashed yesterday.
I'll come to that. So AI has been there for literally 30. I can tell you when I was in college doing my engineering, at that time also we had subjects, they were not called AI.
Sir, I guess computers were introduced at that time when you, I guess you were in...
Yeah, we were the second batch of computer
85?
Yeah, 85.
Because I know when I was born, in computers was introduced in India.
So I can tell you, even at that time, the core foundation of AI is pattern recognition. There were multiple courses on pattern recognition which students have learned during my time. So AI was always there. The problem was to compute that, the power was not there. You need a huge mainframe the size of this office, and that could do not even 10% of the processing your phone can do now. A mainframe costing tens of millions of dollars.
In space.
And and a 5,000 rupee phone. I'm not even talking top end.
Yeah, today they are supercomputers.
Yeah, so they can do that. So what has happened is, after the processing power became huge and mobile and cheap, so AI is now becoming a part of the life. The big shift came when generative AI came, ChatGPT, generative AI. So that was the starting part. You can ask a question, it does these things for you and all of those. So it was great. It started learning. It started improving your outputs in every possible phase. So people have been using it. I think I don't need to discuss that. But what it is doing is anything which is repeatable and does not require, I'll say, a lot of skills or a set of skills which are again very easily trainable. AI is taking a center stage in presenting those solutions in a very cost-effective manner. So AI agents or agentic AI is the next, I'll say, evolution of AI from generative AI, which was ChatGPT and other generative AI tools. And this is all happening now, not in decades, not in years. It is happening in months. We are talking months. You talked about China's new model. Within a day, people say, what the hell has happened? So it is not even now months. Company which is at top of the line, say, till a week ago, a week later, now you are saying, yo, something else has happened. So it's a disruptive, I'll say change like a tsunami. Very disruptive. One thing I heard Jeff Bezos saying once when this was asked, how will you be ahead of this curve in what is happening now? So he said that people ask the wrong questions when they do their strategy. They all are saying company A is building this, company B is building this, they are going to change this, they are going to change. He said, no, we took a different approach. And this is an excellent way of thinking. He said, what is not going to change in 5 years? So let's not worry about 6 months, 1 year. Those disruptions are happening. What is not going to change? He said, for my organization, Amazon, people want quicker deliveries. They want cheap prices. Whatever happens to AI or technology, will that change? No. So let's now think, what can we do to make that happen? Every day that our prices keeps on going down, how do the price go down? Sourcing, deliveries,
better sourcing, better
logistics, technology, discoverability, all of those things. He said, I will only focus on those. I will not focus on what others are building.
Right.
So if we go with that in mind, the human side of AI or the human side of a human are still very far. There is no human AI that good at this moment. But if your job is to use a tool and create a graph and a chart, that is now automated by AI. But what is still a human thing is, how do I articulate? How do I tell someone what do I want? That could be to another person, or that could be to a machine using AI, or that could be a software which is AI. In any case, so the problem solving, problem articulation, and your ability to understand that, those are the two skills in which humans will be in demand. If we can start to build courses, which we are building now, let's focus on only these things only. And if we can, I think we'll be able to create solutions of tomorrow. And that is what we are trying to do. Because otherwise, I can keep on saying, for example, we have just launched with IIT Roorkee actually today, a 1-year program in agentic AI and generative AI. But it's very different. It is not some basic program. The program is actually called Generative AI, Agentic AI, and Machine Learning Applications for Engineers. So it is built around that if you are coming from the engineering profession, and it is not computer engineers only, any kind of engineer, how will I use these technologies, which starts from AI, which is the foundation, machine learning, which is the foundation of AI, then generative AI, then agentic AI, and start building applications in my domain using these technologies. Again, it's the first program of its kind in India. So our ability to foresee this, we have been working on this program like for months. And you can say, but agentic AI only came. Yeah, we heard about it a few months, maybe 6 months ago, or 4 months ago, but it was there. So if we can do that, but just conceiving something is not important. It is also the content, which we are good at, the delivery, and then what level your students are. They may be professionals, they may be students. What will they be able to understand, what they can't? We have to bring it to that level so that more and more students can use, and it is good for the country and good for them.
Sir, is it about prompt engineering? Because I guess solving my problem through AI, I also need to know how do I ask AI, or what I need to write on AI to solve my problem.
Okay, let me put it this way.
I know what the problem is, but I do not know how to write it on ChatGPT to get it answered.
Let me explain to you in a simple way. You're absolutely right when you said that I don't know what to do there. Let me give you a small example. What an agentic AI or an AI agent can do. Assume you are now in an area now in Noida where there are a lot of new real estate projects are going on. Your architects have designed the project. You have the photographs of the site and what's nearby and everything. And you say, let me start an online marketing. Let's create a online website and start marketing this to people in the area and my old customers and what. Up till now, you'll give maybe to design the website to people in design department, marketing department. Okay, let's find the right audience and everything. And you will do whatever is required. Somebody will write the copy and everything. That's the way traditionally it has been done. You take a services of an agentic AI agent which could be available from multiple companies. Ki, I want to start this business. Just a simple problem statement. My audience is this structure of society with this kind of price points or their income levels,
group, yeah.
creating this property at this level in the market based on other properties, and these are the uniquenesses of mine. All of those you describe. I can tell you the AI agent, you give the access to your computer, will see similar websites of other kinds which have been created for our properties like
Offering
this.
same services. Yeah.
They will see all of them. They will take all that data. They will take all the pictures from your Google Drive. They will do everything in terms of making that website based on your expectations and how it will work based on what others have done or you have described. And they will automatically build that website. If you have given them the permission, they will start to put some money from your credit card account and start digitally marketing that website to the target audience you say. Based on the feedback they are getting in digital marketing, how many leads came, how many were good or bad. Agents, these AI agents, I'm using the word they are not people, but they. The agentic AI agent can keep improving your website content, design on a regular basis, daily basis, hourly basis, and within a few days you say a full-fledged performing marketing driven website is ready and is operational and is working.
And without any human intervention.
Now come to the second part. The sales is now also agents. How? So you say you can train? No, you don't need to do anything. You are in this business. You have a online sales team which have been doing that in the past. You have their data from last 2-3 years. You have thousands of calls done to similar kind of properties. You say these are the agents where the same property structure works. Take all that data the agent will take. It will start to create in that same voices or any voice of your choice, which you can improve, speaking agents who will call someone like a physical person, and you cannot be at a difference. I can tell you can't make a difference. The quality is so high now. And because they have processed all the kind of objections, problems and everything, so even the selling they will do. So you will what need is maybe 2 agent managers who will now run your whole business and give you, instead of a team of 50 people, you have these 2 people. That's scary in one way. That what will happen to the jobs. But that's also the reality which is not 5 or 10 years away. It's mainly maybe I'll say 2 years, 1 to 2 years. How much autonomous these agents will become. Your skill, as you will also learn from it, will keep on taking you to the next level. And that will be also a huge number of jobs. When accounting softwares came, so people say all the accountants will be out of business. They are not. The role has changed.
In fact, jobs were increased.
Much more.
Much.
But now the difference is, their majority of the time it's now compliance. They don't make a balance sheet. They don't make anything.
They're auditors now.
Audit, compliance, these things. So the jobs will change. The similar model of compliance, ethics, other things. The jobs will change. But if your basic skill sets are there in these areas, you will figure it out. So I believe we are going in that direction. Futurense is going in that direction, and that is something which I believe is unique to Futurense. And that is something which our users really value, that your courses are actually making a difference. That gives us good, I'll say, traction with institutes on one side, students on other side, and that is the basic cornerstone of doing an education business.
So just an idea, because you have RapidX ka pura content, why don't you also build a RapidX AI bot who can teach me English?
Okay, so it has already happened. It's not that it's not happening. But let's take it the same thing into our BSc program. So we have 2 kinds of AI. One is that all the content taught by the professor, all the reference content which we have created for that program, that's all there inside. And a student can ask any kind of question which integrates the class content and the other reference materials together and gives you a better answer. But that's internal, which is the small language model. But then it also then goes into the web and works with other large language models like ChatGPT or Llama, and it creates answers from there.
I mean,
So,
every student has a different question, so
Precisely.
it will answer the way that student understands that solution.
absolutely. So that's the knowledge side. But we have also created online project bots. So it will ask you to do small, medium, high difficulty level projects based on your learnings of the week. You have to work on those projects in these online labs. And in that also, the whole model of problem articulation using AI to do that is all there. So we are actually the BSc program which we are launching has these bots built in or agents built in.
Sir, what's the penetration ratio between, I'll ask, tier 1 and tier 2 cities? How many students are coming from?
That's very interesting question. So if you say the first batch, 60% students are from tier 3 cities.
Tier 3, okay.
Metro is maybe 20, 25%. 15% maybe tier 2, but a big percentage is tier 3 cities.
Sir, with the focus on upskilling and reskilling in today's workforce, how do you ensure that Futurense programs are keeping up with the ever-changing industry trends, especially in the areas like AI, data engineering and software development?
So the interesting part is anything which is changing very fast has two sides to it or two components to it. One is the foundational part, which never changes. The foundations of AI have not changed in the last 30 years. Application side of that has changed based on the use of technology and all the innovations which are happening. So all our courses are divided into the foundational side and the application side. And the application side is not changing every semester or every course or every year. It actually changes every month because based on how changes are happening in the world. So it could happen that if 3 batches are going together and one studied a month earlier, the second batch may have studied a different or a better version, and that is available to others too. But the idea is we are trying to constantly upgrade the content in a way that students never feel that they are learning something which is outdated or not relevant. A lot of times students say, why are you teaching us too much of foundation? Now AI can do everything. I always tell everyone the question about problem articulation and problem solving only happens if you are foundational. It cannot happen without that. So if anybody thinks just by speaking it will happen, no. For example, you want to even do coding. You still have to, maybe the coding is automated. The problem, the solution, critiquing the problem, critiquing the solution, that is with experience and foundational.
Sir, when hiring for Futurense, what qualities do you prioritize, skills or attitude? How do you ensure new hires align with your company's vision? And how do you hire candidates with an online education background also? I mean, online learning.
Oh, yeah. We don't care what their education is. For us, contrary to what people think, we only hire people based on attitude and culture fit. We do not hire people based on skills. Skills can be taught. There's no rocket science in what we do. But in, I'll say 90% of the job roles, it is attitude and culture. In some very high-tech roles, yes, skills do matter.
Technical.
But that's a very small number. But I'll say in majority of the cases that. And I believe that's the most difficult part because to judge that the culture fit happens, we may not be right every time. We do mistakes and we end up hiring wrong people. But it's a part and parcel of the whole business structure. But I believe, and I say to everyone, that if you hire the right people, get the right team in place, you don't need a lot of financial resources to be successful. On the contrary, I believe if you have less financial resources, you do a better job.
Yeah, that's right. Sir, how does Futurense ensure its educational content stays current with AI-driven market trends, and how do you differentiate your programs from others offering similar AI courses apart from the content that you have, sir?
We put a lot of effort in building syllabuses. As I told you in the beginning, we spend equal amount of time in technology and content. I think that plus the experience and access to, first of all, the Future Leadership Council, more than 100 CXOs in that council, the access to industry leaders and CXOs on one side, and the top academics in India and around the world on the other side, is a competitive edge. It cannot be bought. It is your experience and your relationships for a long number of years, which allows that to happen. Then again, the structure of, even if you know someone, you can't motivate someone to spend time with you for doing something where the results are not publicly you can clap on them or acknowledge them. So that is the difficult part. Second is, it is difficult to change a professor's mind. If they believe this is the right way to teach and this is the right content to teach, it is rewarding, but also frustrating. But I believe it takes time. That is one area which you cannot. And I am not at all saying that the academics are wrong and right. They believe the way they are thinking. There is no wrong and right in it. It is more about what your customers want and what is the solution or outcome or output of that. I think it is more of that kind of a discussion. All academics are very accomplished set of professionals. I am not the right person to say this is wrong and right, but I can say this is my customers want. So now let's work together to find a way to resolve. That's a tough job. I can tell you that requires years of friendship, connections, and I'll say that they acknowledge what you say is not driven by business only, because as an academic, the first thing they want is the spread of education and skill.
Sir, what advice would you like to give to aspiring entrepreneurs in the edtech space, and what do you see as the biggest challenge in this sector for next generation to overcome?
I'm not the right guy to give advice. We are learning every day. We are still a small organization. We are learning every day. I believe one thing is that for any entrepreneur to get into edtech is, don't create a problem and then find a solution. Because 90% of the problems only exist in our mind. They are never actually problems of others. You may think this is a problem, and that happens in education a lot. Second is, whatever I think is right, or whatever I think about this is the way to learn something or do something is right, is also not right. Third is that unless you think about customization and scale, edtech will never work. And fourth is, success does not happen in 1 or 2 years. Even the most successful or unsuccessful companies in India in edtech, both of them, very big ones, small ones, they struggled for 4, 5, 6, 10 years before the pivotal moment came. And that's true with majority of the organizations which still exist. So this is not something you believe that something will happen and within 18 months somebody will buy you out and this will happen. Because education is not something like quick commerce, that you want something I can deliver in 5 minutes, you can deliver in 4 minutes. So it takes time. And come with that sort of mind. And I always tell everyone that education is, like Saraswati is the goddess of education. Think about education first, money later. I always tell everyone, we are not in the business of education, which I believe a lot of companies are. We are in the education business. Education first and then the business, not business first and maybe we also provide education. If you can get that thing right in your mind, there is a huge amount of scope to be successful in it.
Your son Raghav has certainly followed in your footsteps and made a name for himself. How has his journey impacted your perspective on education and business? Do you see any unique contribution he's making to the world of education?
See, I believe there are many areas actually I have learned from him. I don't believe I was the right person to think about how Gen Z thinks. I'm the right person to say these are the best way to market. Perspective of how to look at business 3 years, 5 years, 10 years from now. I think that side of business which he have brought in is actually a huge competitive edge. So he gets that ingredient right. But more than that, his ability to connect with the audience, ability to understand what resonates with them, and ability to understand how to solve complex operational marketing, strategy, finance, all kind of problems. He's doing a great job there. My role is more strategic. My role is more relationships. My role is more towards how do I make it better? How do I keep on improving what we have? His role is to dream big, but also do it right. For every aspirations you create, you need to then tone it down. It is far more closer to reality. So I think it's a good combination which works.
कभी ऐसा कोई any moment that clash of ideas happened because of generation?
No, always it will happen. Why will it not? So I believe if there is no clash, there is no, I'll use the word agree to disagree. Okay. So you cannot have a good business if your leadership is only listening to what you are saying, or your co-founders are only listening to what you are saying, or my way or highway. No such business has ever existed. Every day we learn from others. Every day we learn from each other. Every day learn from our students. Every day we learn from the institutions we work with. So everybody teaches us something. The perspectives of all the people of the leadership would be different for the same kind of feedback you are getting. So it's a very healthy, also difficult because it is not easy to fulfill everybody's expectations, and you have to bring everybody together. We all know our strengths, we all know our weaknesses.
Sir, having been a part of both global education system and Indian markets, how do you see Indian edtech companies expanding globally? What needs to make India edtech global leader?
If you talk about science, say for example, let's start the foundation from science. The language of science globally is English. Okay? So what I mean by that is, even if academic research happens, their majority published in English journals. There could be local language journals, I'm not denying, but the global gold standard of that research and innovation, the language is science then, at least from the academic side. Now, if I take that perspective from my side, if the language is universal in science, service of technological solutions means if I do a course in AI, very easily it could be taught by an Indian trainer in Bangalore or an American trainer in Silicon Valley, and people will give same respect to both the people irrespective of their backgrounds. That may not be true
Because the syllabus remains same.
because the language is same.
And the stories remain same.
Technology is same. To say that Indian companies are, I think a lot of Indian companies are going global. Indian edtech solutions which they work globally, I think there is where a bit of a challenge is that the education system at school level, forget about a country, within each state is different. The level of acceptance of that is very different. There are certain common things, but it is different. Even the biggest school level education players in education technology in India, they only cater to a specific set of schools. If you talk about professional training, as I said, that can be global. It can be management, it could be business. Anything which is global in nature is totally fine. Can Indian companies succeed globally? Absolutely. But global does not mean the West. We can easily be the skilling and knowledge, huge parts of Asia, Africa, Middle East.
Right.
Huge part. If these are global certifications, global programs, then no problem. If it is that can anybody, an American buy, say, an Indian Institute's program in America, we are still not. It may change. Indian origin people living there is a different story, but it is still going to change. Other countries, they do value our higher education. Thousands of, maybe lakhs of students come to India. But how many Americans or how many Europeans come to India?
I don't think so.
So it's a very small number. So I think take that as a context. It is not about saying this is wrong or right. I'm saying just take that as a context that from a business perspective, let's focus where we are accepted instead of trying to make a market.
Yeah. Sir, how do you balance personal time while leading a fast-growing company? And are there any habits that help you maintain this work-life balance?
I don't believe there is any concept called work-life balance. I know a lot of people have said a lot of things. I will not go into that.
It's a very hot
I will
topic.
not go into that. But I believe if you like what you do, if you love your work, you find that balance automatically, because then you don't spend specific hours in specific things. If you can marry both the life and the work things together, that creates a very nice way that you have, say, 14 hours in a day. Nobody stops me that I may say do some family thing, maybe 12 in the afternoon. But I can work 8 in the morning or 7 in the morning. I can work 9 at night. So if you can balance it that way, I think you don't need to worry about work-life balance.
Last question, sir. Why have you chosen tech as an only domain of delivering education?
It is not about that it was something which was accidental, it was intentional. Hard skills is now the competitive edge. That doesn't mean that soft skills are not important. They're equally important. Soft skills, many options are available. And in the new world of AI, that's very well automated, and a lot of material is available for people to learn multiple courses in multiple domains to learn soft skills. Hard skills and to teach them online is difficult.
It's very difficult. It's a challenge.
It's very difficult, and it's a good problem statement and a good problem to solve. So the idea was, if we can connect it to degrees, diplomas, then there is also an incentive and also a discipline which comes automatically. You are not going to get a top degree from a top institution just by not studying or not doing the things. Business teaching is easy. It is, you can start a Zoom class and that's what you need. You need some content and you can do it, and a good professor and you can do it. But this requires an integration of multiple data points. So we believe, because it's a complex thing, it is not easily solvable. So that remains a competitive edge. It may be a very small market as compared to what others do, but I believe that is also a big enough market on it itself.
Sure.
And we took that path. Is it right or wrong? I don't know. But since we are now in that path, we want to now scale up, and we are scaling up that path. You will see in the next few months multiple other programs coming out, but we are in that path.
Thank you, sir. It was a very knowledgeable podcast, sir.
Not a problem.